Man, hey, am I sideways?
Yeah.
How about there we go.
There you go. What's going on, my brother?
Yeah, not much. We got I America 757 in the
Erica.
building. Erica, shout
Erica.
out to you.
Absolutely,
Thank you
man.
for the plants. She brought the plants to the office. She brought the money plant. She brought a nice little palm tree. That's real love, man. People show up to your businesses and they put stuff in there, man, to make it come alive.
Yeah,
I'm
Erica.
hearing some feedback.
Huh? Can you hear some feedback?
I'm getting some feedback. Yeah, a little bit.
All right.
What up, y'all? You know, she's from the South. Y'all? What up, y'all? We country down here in Virginia.
Yeah, she definitely good people's, man. She was like, whenever you get I'm still working on it too. Let me get some new hoodies. But she was like, once you get the white one, let me know and I'll support. So shout out to Erica, man. She's
support all of your people. We have businesses, platforms. Make sure you actually go out there, support, share their stuff. Because you know what? You never know, man. It feels good, too. You know, when you know that you have people supporting you. And sometimes all folks need show some love. But, yeah, man. So what we got on the we got some stuff coming up, man.
Yeah. We got a little bit of activity that's been happening the past couple of days, man. We gotta talk. The champ, he had to Jesse. He had to bounce. He had to meet up dinner. He's having dinner with some friends. So he's not gonna be able to make it this time, but hopefully next time we'll be able to get him up here.
Yeah, we'll get the champ up here. We'll save that. We'll save that.
Yeah. We'll definitely get him up here sometime. But yeah, we got a couple topics though. The first one I want to talk about. Hold on, real quick.
What we got?
All right, Canelo. All right, so as we know, he was offered 2 deals. One was for about $45 million with PBC Al Heyman, and he was supposed to fight Charlo. At 168. Or option 2 is with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. That one was reported about $85 million. He would have to fight Bivol first. I want to say that's Cinco de Mayo. And then in September, he would have the third fight with Triple G. All right. So my question to you is, as a fan, seeing those 2 options, what would be like more appealing to you? Would it be Charlo, who's more of like the household name, or would it be the Bivol option, knowing that Bivol is like he's a legit threat to Canelo? You know what I mean?
I think we all just want to see Charlo. I think that's getting overdue, and they should definitely just do that now. But I understand, taking the money move. You got 80 on the table guaranteed, or you got 40, and you're taking in Charlo. I think it would be a great fight. I think all of them are really good fights. I'm not sure about the Triple G Canelo fight. I'm not sure. I'm not really interested in seeing that anymore. And I don't think that that's necessarily a good fight for Canelo either, or Triple G taking that type of punishment that they're dishing out to each other. We want to see the best fight the best, but I think we've had enough of Canelo and Triple G, man.
I agree. I think that ship has sailed, man. Like if Triple G was 32, 33, I would be happy for it. I'd be all for it. But I mean, we're talking about Triple G being 40 years old. You know what I mean? Just about. So I really don't think Canelo gets anything out of the Triple G fight, because let's just say he goes in and then wins this time or knocks him out. People are just going to say, well, Triple G is too old now. They're going to say,
if he does knock out Triple G, it'll just be – I feel cheated by that trilogy, honestly, because I feel like Triple G – I felt like he blatantly, he won the first fight to me. The second fight could have been a draw, too. And it's, I'd hate to see a fighter who won one of those fights, who everybody kind of knows Triple G won the first fight.
Yeah.
But if he gets knocked out in the third fight, it's just kind of like that'll hurt his legacy at the end of the day.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at Triple G's fights like since that second Canelo fight, they haven't really been all that great. Like, I feel like Canelo's at a point where now you have to earn the right to fight this cat. It was like Mayweather when Mayweather was on top. Like, you have to show the public that you're deserving to fight this cat. You know what I mean? And I don't think Triple G has done that since their second fight. Like, he fought Steve Rolls, Dervinchenko, and like Cesar Mida, I think is the guy's name. So, like, it hasn't been anybody in the top 5 in the division. So, I mean, like, my thing is, like, are we still harping on that first fight as to why he should get a third fight with Canelo? Like, I don't think he has anything to earn it. Right. I think Benavidez has earned it. Charlo has earned it. But I don't think Triple G has really done anything to warrant, like, fighting this man. So, like, there's plenty of other people in the division that he can fight that would make good fights. But I don't see it because it's like 168. I want to say, like, super middleweight. You know, they were saying that Charlo was gonna go up to 168 for the Canelo fight. So if he still does,
I'd rather see. You know, he's gonna take that DAZN deal because at the end of the day, if he goes the Charlo route, he's gonna end up having to fight Benavidez. I don't really think that's a good matchup for Canelo. I think those are more dangerous fights for him. Yeah, I think Charlo and Benavidez are like those are 2 more dangerous fights for him.
Do you think Benavidez has the power to make Canelo respect him? Now, keep in mind, before you answer that question, and I want to say like the first or second fight, he caught my man with like a looping overhand right. Or the second fight, he caught Canelo with something flush, like right there on the chin, dog, and he ate it. So do you think he's got the power to make him respect him?
Do you think anybody has the power to make Canelo respect him right now?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Right now.
The champ is in here too. Champ just joined in. What's that, Aaron? What's going on? But yeah, I haven't seen like anybody get that kind of respect from Canelo, because Canelo is always moving forward. If Triple G couldn't get that power or get that respect when he was knocking everybody out, then I don't see Charlo or Benavidez getting that kind of respect either, to be honest. It's going to take somebody at 175.
When I saw Canelo walk through that overhand right, that Triple G threw, I was sick. I was like, oh, man. He just actually the punch that was thrown was that Triple G ate that overhand right that Canelo threw. That was actually a harder punch.
Yeah. I'll give
Triple
you that.
G, he walked through that. Yeah,
because everybody was like, oh, hold on. Wait a second. We may have one of my personal favorites growing up. There he is, man.
Hey, the champ is here.
How's it going, brother? All right?
How y'all doing?
I'm parked in my car right now outside the restaurant.
I hear you, man. Well, definitely appreciate you tapping in with us, man.
No problem.
We were just talking about this whole Canelo situation. Like, as a fan, would you rather see him fight Charlo, or would you rather see him take that Matchroom offer and fight Bivol and then Triple G for a third time?
I'm not. You know what? Seriously, I'm not interested in that Triple G third fight. The first fight was okay. It was close. I think still Canelo won the fight. The second one, Canelo wins easy. Clearly, what's going to happen if he wins the third fight? He just beat him again. And people are going to say, well, he's older now, and Canelo's not going to get his respect either way. You go on to bigger and better things. The Charlo fight's probably the toughest fight out there for him. And I would love to see that. I know both guys are both great guys. I would like to see it because it's a tough fight, but I would hate to see it because I would hate to see one of them lose.
Very true. Very true. And you know what? We were just saying the same thing about that before you joined it. We were saying that if Canelo knocks him out, if he beats him, people are just gonna say that Triple G is too old. I mean, he's gonna be, I think, 40 in April.
Yeah, no matter what, its age has caught up to him already. It caught up to him, what, 2 fights ago?
Yep.
2 years ago when they fought, I believe, or maybe 3 years ago. And he didn't get any younger. He just got older.
Yeah. And I mean, the 3 fights that he had after that second fight with Canelo weren't the best either. When he fought Steve Rolls, I think, and Derevyanchenko, and I think Cesar Meter or something like that. Like he really didn't show the dominant Triple G that we're used to seeing. You know, you're used to seeing him go in and decapitate people, and like it's like the past couple fights we haven't seen that.
And when he hit Canelo with everything he had, nothing happened to Canelo. You know,
exactly.
he hit everything. He threw everything at Canelo and hit him, and nothing happened. And so what's going to happen? There's no upside for Canelo to win this fight at all. There's no upside. And you always want to fight somebody who's going to get you a bigger, better name. Go on to the next guy.
Yeah.
So how do you see the Bivol fight turning out, Justin?
I'm not too familiar with Bivol. I haven't seen him fight too much, so I really can't say. And I would hate to say, but I see Canelo fight. And to me, he's the best fighter out in the world right now. And it's going to take a special person to beat him at any of these weights that they're fighting at. Obviously, a lot of the guys want to fight him because the money's there. But Canelo is he's a different animal. His power, his speed, his technique, his smarts. The best thing that happened to Canelo is when he lost to Mayweather, because he changed his game plan around, and he was smart enough to realize that I can't just go in there and knock guys out. Now I got to knock him out. I got to set him up for the jab. I got to move my head a lot more. You never saw Canelo move his head the way he does now, and that he has Mayweather to thank for that.
Yeah, definitely. You can tell like he's become noticeably better from a defensive standpoint.
Every fight he's getting better.
Yeah. I think it was Danny Jacobs when he fought him. Danny Jacobs tried to just flick. I think it was 5 or 6 jabs at him, and Canelo just ducked every single one.
Yeah, and that's just of him. Every time you see Canelo, he's doing those noodles. Not so much. He does a lot of mitts, but those noodles are every single day, and he's moving his head. He sees those things coming at him really fast, and it's just practice. Practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect.
Amen. I'm with you on that. So let me ask you this though: do you see anybody out there that, if you hear their name, it's like, okay, this guy could be a potential problem for Canelo? I'm thinking maybe if I had to pick, better Biev at 175, but I don't really see anybody at 168 that can.
Like I said, Charlo. I think Charlo makes 168, right? He can make 68.
Yeah.
That's a tough fight for him because he's young, tall.
You think Charlo has the power?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe not to knock him out, but to beat him. I mean, to do enough damage. But those guys are strong. Those guys know how to fight. Those guys been around fighting forever, and they're experienced and young.
Yeah, true. And I think another reason why people want to see Charlo fight him too is that they want to find out about Charlo. Like he's a household name, but if you look at his resume, there isn't anybody that's like top 2, top 3 guys. So you want to find out really how good he is.
Which
like
Charlo is it the one that beat Ronnie? Or is, the one that Ronnie trains, or is it the other one?
It's the I want to say it's the one that Ronnie trains. I want to say I could be wrong.
Okay, I think he's the heavier one, right? The one Ronnie trains.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Okay.
Yeah, because the younger one is getting ready to have a rematch with Castaño.
Yes, I saw that fight. I was there at that fight.
What'd you think about that one? I believe Charlo lost that fight.
It was really, really close. It could have gone either way. It was really, really close. It was a tough fight.
Oh yeah, definitely a good one.
Let me ask you.
Oh yeah. All right. Let me ask you about this. This past weekend, we saw Keith Thurman and Barrios. Keith Thurman, his first time back, in the ring. I think he said over 900 days. So you can only expect so much from somebody from being out of action that long. You don't expect them to be at their best. But Keith Thurman looked good, in my opinion. What did you guys think about the fight? Brian, I'll start with you. What did you think about Keith Thurman and his return in the ring?
I thought he looked good. Barrios, he's a tough opponent, but I think Keith, he looked like at the weigh-in he was in the best shape he's ever been in, and I think it was a good fight for him to come back. I think he boxed well.
Yeah, absolutely. Champ, what do you think? How do you look?
I think for taking 3 years off, he looked very impressive. Keith
Hmm.
did. What he won, what, 9 rounds maybe?
Yeah.
Nine, yeah, he won maybe 9 or 10 rounds, and that's impressive. And Barrios is a great fighter. Great, he has great distance on his punch. He doesn't use his jab enough, like his distance enough. But he fought tough, and I always tell people this: Barrios is a great fighter, but when you don't want to be known as a tough fighter. That means you get hit a lot. You want to be known as a good fighter, a smart fighter, not a tough fighter. Tough fighters get hit a lot. And but he, like I said, he hung in there tough, and he did what he had to do. He hurt Thurman with that body shot. I forgot what round it was, maybe 10th, 11th round. He hurt him bad, and he could have followed up a little bit. He could have stopped Thurman because Thurman does not take body shots for some reason. He does not take body shots.
He does not, and I posted that
That's
in
his.
the
What do you call
story.
that? What did Superman have? That what was his name? Kryptonite, right?
The kryptonite.
Yeah,
The kryptonite. You know what? As soon as I saw him take that body shot and take his mouthpiece out and kind of retreat for a little bit, I was reminded because he had a couple fights where he got hit to the body and he didn't react. He didn't react well to it. So that's why I put, a good body puncher, I think, would be a tough matchup for Keith Thurman. Somebody that constitutes a body like Errol Spence.
If Barrios had that homework done, knew about that, he just stuck to the body the whole time.
Yeah.
And then it opens up the head too, He would have dropped his hands and the head opens up.
Yeah. Barrios is a tough guy, man. He was getting there with a lot of stuff. Like he hung in there.
Yeah, he did.
And, I think that says a lot to the power of Tank Davis.
Yeah.
Tank Davis was actually able to knock out Barrios.
Yeah.
So that says a lot about
Barrios will be back though. I think he's just getting back. These fights don't, they hurt him, but they don't hurt him enough to hurt his career. But if he gets right and he does everything, he'll get back up there and win another world title.
Right. Because, if you look at Barrios' record and you look at his losses, you say, okay, who are his losses to? Yeah. Gervonta Davis and Keith Thurman. It's like, okay, that's nothing to be ashamed about. You're talking about two of the best boxers in the world. So
the only thing I would like for him to do is beat a bigger name. Not like Thurman, but beat average names or names that better fighters. He needs to groom himself with better fighters. He went straight to the top. You know what I'm saying? He went straight to the top with these two guys, and that's tough to do.
Yep.
You can't fight like B-level fighters and then go straight to an A+. That's tough. You got to groom yourself up there,
And he's in a weight class, man. That 147 weight class, it's probably the toughest one, in all of boxing. You're talking about Crawford, talking about Spence, you're talking about Ugas, you're talking about Virgil Ortiz Jr., you're talking about Jaron Ennis. Yeah. Those are 5 guys just off the top of my head that could be dangerous opponents for Keith Thurman if he's not ready for him.
Ugas is a beast. That's going to be a good fight, this coming fight with Ugas.
Ugas and Errol Spence. Who do you have winning in that one?
I hope Spence wins, but I think Spence's defense is really, really good, and he doesn't get enough credit for it. But he don't get hit a lot.
That's true. That's true.
That's very important in this game, not to get hit a lot. That's why Mayweather's the best.
I know people hate on Floyd because he's not like. There's 2 different Floyd Mayweathers. You got Money Mayweather and you got Pretty Boy Floyd. Pretty Boy Floyd was the knockout artist. Money Mayweather that was later on. That was down the road.
I tell people, it said guys want. I said the best fighter in the world who makes millions and millions of dollars doesn't get hit, and you want to get hit. Don't get hit. You don't need to get hit. Make that money.
That's a fact. We got us a good comment too left by Steven the Cardinal Martin. He says, I think Canelo has Triple G's number, and a third fight could be tragic for Triple G. What do y'all think?
Oh, I'm telling you that there's no upside for Canelo to beat him, but he beats him again. He beats him and maybe knocks him out, like you said. Like they're saying, it's a tough fight, and Triple G obviously is going to try to get his last big payday. You can't blame him for that, but it's not a good fight for him. Not to go out and when he knows he does, if he wants to. Stay away from
How you feel, Brian? Could this be tragic for Triple G? Like, could this be?
Yeah, it could.
Like, if he loses back, could his career be over? Or close to over?
Most definitely. I mean, another fight like that. They threw everything at each other. those two fights. And I personally think that Triple G won the first fight. In my opinion, I felt like he won it.
Could have gone either way.
But it could have gone either way. Canelo won the second one.
Yeah.
But Triple G, I mean, I feel like his moment at his pinnacle at the age that he was at the first fight, I felt like it kind of got stolen from him a little bit. And to get beat by Canelo, I don't want to see him get beat by Canelo again, honestly, because I think that's not – it wouldn't be good for his legacy because he's, 3 losses to Canelo just winning.
Yeah, that don't look good on anybody's record, yeah. Hey, well, listen, guys, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to head out. People are waiting for me inside the restaurant. Well, let's do this again. I would love to chat with you guys again. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hey, it's always love, champ. Me and you will be talking, and we'll line something up so that way we can get you back.
Don't forget, I'm sending you that shirt still. I'm still gonna send you that shirt.
My man. I appreciate you. Once I get a new logo, we're gonna get you right, man. So all love, my man.
Thanks, guys.
All right, champ.
All right, be safe. Okay, bye-bye.
All right. And just like that, you got world champions in the building.
Isn't that cool, man? Like the fan side of me, like the little boy side of me, is like, yo, that is awesome. Like that's somebody that you grew up watching, that you're just talking to.
Playing fight night with, right?
Yeah. That's exactly how it is, man. Steven, hey, man, we definitely appreciate you too. If you want to hop up here and talk some boxing with us, send me the request. We're always down to chop it up. We're getting ready to get to this boots in this subject because we heard my man Sean Porter, who I got a ton of respect for. Much respect to Sean Porter. He went on his podcast, The Porter Way, and he said that he feels like Jaron Ennis is overrated because of what everybody is saying. Like they're saying, well, Boots will smash Terence Crawford. He'll smash Errol Spence. He'll smash. Hold on, we got.
That's easy to say. That's easy to say when you're retired. But before we hit on that, that's really cool that Jesse came on. And what's dope about that, and a lot of combat fighters. What's up, my man?
How's it going?
What's up, guys? Hey, with a lot of combat fighters, wrestlers, boxers, MMA fighters, these guys have so much humility, and they can connect with the fans like other athletes really can't. Because at the end of the day, they're just normal guys, and we've seen the best of them and the worst of them. So it's really awesome to be able to have, the platform going, to have champions come on. So it's an honor.
It's fun, man.
If you don't mind me saying, I was an amateur boxer, and one thing about the amateurs is when I was, 18, I'm 39 now. When I was 18, back then it was different. If you had a talent, a lot of trainers and gyms would pick you up and would take a chance on you. These days, back in the day, boxing was the people from the most poverty-stricken areas of the world. If they fought hard enough and if they won, the chances were that they could provide for their families and that they could become something. But today, gyms are very expensive. And like, for instance, a gym membership could be $60 to $70 a month. Personal training could be $60 a session. And a lot of people in the urban areas don't have the funds for that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, what do y'all feel about that as far as, boxing and about people in the urban areas being able to have access to those goals and those dreams?
It's, to me, I feel like it's very important because it keeps a lot of kids out of trouble. You hear some people say boxing saved my life. It should be something that everybody has access to. Unfortunately, we live in a world where money can get you access to more things than others, but something should be done. And it sucks too because we miss out on a lot of talent. A lot of those areas, as you said yourself, they come from those areas. I mean, you're talking about people like Gervonta Davis, who comes from Baltimore. So if you don't see any of these guys, then we miss out on it, and they potentially miss out on their dreams. So it would be nice if they had an opportunity, some kind of program or something being done to give them the access, to have boxing and everything else, just like, all the other kids do. The ones with money, ones without money, they should all have access to the same thing.
I agree. And I think that this happens on a youth level. You're talking Boys and Girls Club. You're talking individuals. One of my buddies, Donald Motley, he's a Team Virginia national coach. He does boxing in his room too. And I see a lot of different combat sports mixing their people together, sharing gyms. And that's really on a community level, man, that somebody has to step up. Men in the community have to step up, say, hey, we want to dedicate our time to doing X, Y, Z. But all sports are evolving. Like, my oldest son plays travel baseball. My younger son wrestles like I did, and baseball is not a poor man's sport anymore. Your kid won't have opportunity if you don't get them on the top travel team, if you don't spend $3,500 a season to get them the best stuff in the camps, trainers. And it's just the money in sports today is what's driving youth sports to become more expensive. So
Exactly.
look, wrestling,
Even like in college football, you have like the big schools, Alabama, LSU, for those big schools that people want to play football for. More than likely, you pay for those. If you're first string, you're going to get drafted.
Yeah.
But what does it take to get to those schools? And that's what I mean. It's like, let's be honest. A lot of the biggest dreams come from hunger.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So we need to create programs where that hunger can be satisfied, where people can reach their dream, can go for it, at least have a shot.
Yeah. And because I truly believe that every kid, or every adult has a right to be able to accomplish their goals. Sometimes goals aren't accomplished because of yourself, and if that's the case, then that's something that you need to work on personally and figure out why you're not able to do that. And sometimes it's because of funds. Let's be real. Like Brian said, his kid's playing baseball now, and there's only a certain height that his kid can get to without certain resources. Like if he's not working out with certain trainers and stuff, there's going to be certain things that he's missing out on. So everybody should have access to that stuff, man.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, when I was amateur boxing, I had all the opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
But I lost my mom, my dad, and both my grandparents in 6 years.
Oh, wow.
I was 22. I just fell into this big depression. I ended up homeless, and through the grace of God, I bounced back on my feet. Now I'm a happily married man. I have a great job, and when I came here to San Antonio, I wanted to give boxing another shot because that was something that I felt was taken from me, that I was robbed from because of tragedies in my life.
Yeah.
Something that I wanted to try. But even though, I have a good job and everything, it was, it takes sacrifice. You can't be halfway in boxing.
Right.
You got to be all the way in.
Mm-hmm.
So I had left my job, and my wife was going to try to support us. But with the gym fees, every day paying a trainer, it was just piling up, the bills. And I didn't get a chance to try it again like I wanted to, but it really opened up my eyes. Like, me, I have a fallback plan. I have a job, I have a trade, I'm okay. But just think about those people that really want it. They're in poverty. Like, this is their shot, and they got talent, but they can't afford it. And that's what really bothers me. It's like, man, why should someone be held away from their dreams because of that? You know what I mean? Because boxing was one of those things. I mean, look at Jack Johnson, the first African-American fighter.
Yep.
Look at Roberto Duran, who came from Panama, poverty to the fullest.
Yeah.
Manny Pacquiao.
Some of the greatest champions we ever had. Yeah, Manny Pacquiao. Exactly.
Yep. Even though he was crazy, Ricardo Mayorga. Even though he was crazy.
He was crazy.
My man slapped the cigarette. You slapped the cigarette around.
He came from Nicaragua.
That man was...
And we know that's crazy too. There's certain parts of You know, Nicaragua, that, you know, where they get down at Puerto Rico.
Look, let me tell you. Hey, yo, let me tell you.
But
your boy,
man, that was my dude.
That dude's crazy. That was the first time I ever. Did he smoke a cigarette with boxing gloves on, like in the ring?
Yo, I don't know if y'all remember. He beat Vernon Forrest. After Vernon Forrest beat Shane Mosley, I want to say, and then he beat Vernon Forrest. It was on HBO Boxing, and after that, he smoked a cigarette in the ring. That was like the first time people were like, "Yo, who is this cat, man?" Like, people didn't really see him until he knocked old boy out. Until he knocked him out, and then my man just came up here and smoking a cigarette, and people are like, "Yo, who is this guy, man?" Like, he's doing stuff that we've never seen before. Like, you've never seen a boxer smoke a cigarette in the ring and eat a piece of chicken while doing an interview. You know what I'm saying? So, Ricardo Mayorga was definitely a character, man. He was one of those characters in boxing that keeps you entertained. Like, whether he wins or loses, you want to see like the build up to a fight, and you want to see his character, you know, come to life during these conversations where he's smacking somebody's girlfriend on the butt. Or doing what? Hey,
look, let me ask you, Sean. Hey, look, let me ask y'all a question. Like, out of who is the most entertaining fighter for you since you've been alive that you had the privilege to watch?
I'll let y'all answer, and then I'll go, because I don't think about this.
I'm gonna have to say Hector Camacho.
Man, dog.
Good choice. That documentary, it was tough.
Camacho, man, he had the look, he had the ability in the ring. He was, he caught my attention as a child, because I remember seeing him as a kid, and you're like, yo, who is this?
I'm Puerto Rican. I'm Puerto Rican I'm from Harlem, from Spanish Harlem. And I remember seeing him, and I'm like, who is his brother with? Those fans wearing all and his costumes and everything, like, because, you know, us Puerto Ricans, we had like kind of like that machismo. Yeah. So we didn't really know what to really think about him at first. Yeah. But then he go talking so much smack and being all like this, it was entertaining. Yeah.
Yep. You had to.
What's his number one line? Oh, y'all niggas. Hey, look, when he said that, I lost. Yeah, my man, that's one of the greatest one-liners in boxing history.
He was definitely one of my favorites.
What about you, Sean? Who do you think's the most entertaining fighter?
Mine, I have three, man. I have Mike Tyson, of course.
Come on.
I'm 90s. I mean, I'm a 90s baby, so you know Tyson. That's when he did his thing. 80s.
I know who's next. Roy Jones next.
Roy Jones, yes, absolutely. Roy Jones. And if we're talking about entertainment, number 3 would be Prince Nassim Hamed.
All right, and I was gonna say Prince Nassim Hamed, and that was also the most satisfying knockout when Barrera knocked him out. So. Yeah, Prince Nassim Hamed, that dude came on.
Uppercut. He did that wobbly dance.
Yes, man. No. If we talking about showman, man, Hamed had it all, because he had some highlight reel knockouts too, like the fight with Kevin Kelly. If you haven't seen that fight with Kevin Kelly, man, go back and take a look at it. I think it was like 4 or 5 knockdowns in that whole fight. Fight was great, but he definitely brought the show with him too, man.
You know, we were talking about Ricardo Mayorga, and when he fought Miguel Cotto, he said, your wife cries at night because she's never been with a real man.
Ricardo Mayorga was like on another level, disrespectful. So like when I see all these trash talkers now, I'm like, yo, Ricardo Mayorga was the originator. I mean, Ali, of course, is the GOAT of it. But I feel like Ricardo Mayorga brought it up to the line of disrespect and almost crossed it. But like he like teetered along the line of disrespect and maybe crossed it a couple times. But
he got in people's head. He got in their head.
He got a world title behind it, so it worked.
Okay, so when we talking smack talk, and the only time that I ever use these names in the same sentence, and even he said it himself, but when it comes to smack talk, Who had better smack talk? Muhammad Ali or Conor McGregor?
Oh,
It would be Ali.
McGregor tough.
I'm gonna have to say
He tough
Ali.
with that accent, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to say Ali because Ali would go out and predict how you're gonna get knocked out.
Right. Yeah, and he call you ugly. He call you everything in the book. Then tell you what round he's gonna knock you out, and then go out and do it. You know what I mean? Conor McGregor is he's good though, man. Like when he fought Floyd Mayweather, Floyd didn't have to do nothing. He just let Conor sell the whole fight.
Yeah,
that's all you got to do. If you're fighting Conor McGregor, you don't have to do anything, bro. He'll sell the fight. You know, Conor, he's probably the best trash talker in the game now. I would say. I'll give him that respect.
He is a pretty good trash talker. Yeah,
but you know who is the white version of Ali? Tyson Fury.
Oh, he might be the best trash talker. He went in on.
He's not the best singer.
Anthony Joshua. He went in on Anthony Joshua, dog. He called him a big useless duster, and he was like, "Yo, he got lucky in South Korea. He came over to America where the real fights are. He got beat by a fat kid on a 2 weeks notice. He went in on Anthony Joshua, man. So Fury might be the best trash talker now. And
but you know what? That brings up a good question. What do y'all think about Anthony Joshua? Is he a bust?
Yeah, he's a bust, man. Hey, look, mental toughness and being a wrestler, I can see that Anthony Joshua does not have the mental toughness to continue to go and to win. Anytime you go out there, you just put your hands up and he's just scared. I mean, you can see it, him being petrified in the ring. I've seen it a couple times in him. And I don't think he's gonna do much more here. He should probably just hang it up.
You know, my wife, she's a big boxing fan, and I think she hit on the head. She said he's good as long as it's going his way. She said, but he doesn't have grit.
Yeah.
Nope. He's a dope boy.
And he doesn't do a good job from a movement standpoint, like moving his upper body. You know what I mean? So like if you're fighting, let's just say he gets in there with somebody like Deontay Wilder, you know, who doesn't have the best boxing skills. I mean, we know that. Tyson Fury's shown that in 3 fights already, you know. But if there's one thing Deontay Wilder does have, it's power. And he has a dangerous right hand, you know, and he's rocked Tyson Fury and even dropped him in 2 of the 3 fights that they've had. And Joshua's chin is not that strong. I mean, he got knocked out by Ruiz, like, you know, Fury said, on a 2-week notice. And then he got his jaw jacked by Vladimir Klitschko when they fought in England. So what happens when Deontay Wilder, who you can make an argument is one of the hardest punching heavyweights of all time, if we're just going to keep it in that little slim spectrum. I'm not saying skill-wise he's one of the best, but if we're just talking strictly punching power, Deontay Wilder is one of the hardest hitting heavyweights of all time. His record shows that. You know what I mean? Every single person that he's beat, he's knocked out. So that shows that the power is there. So if we're talking about that kind of punching power, what happens when Joshua goes against that? And you don't really move your head. You keep your head on the line a lot. There's no lateral, you know, there's no side-to-side movement. That's how Fury was able to dodge that right hand. He's able to, you know, Fury, he moves well for a guy that's 6'9". I think we all can agree on that.
He boxes beautifully.
Yeah,
but
in order to beat somebody like Deontay Wilder, you have to have the ability to get out of the way of the right hand for 12 rounds.
Oh yeah,
I give Deontay Wilder a whole lot of credit. I give Wilder way more credit in that second fight when he fought Fury in the third fight. Mm-hmm. Right? They fought 3 fights. Mm-hmm. That third fight, when he came back and he knocked Fury down and he stayed in there even though he had been beaten pretty much the whole fight, he earned a lot of my respect because, you know, he's a tough dude, man. He takes some shots. And that ain't no dude that got 2 trunk legs. I mean, when he gets hit, he gets wobbled and he stays up.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be a very hard critic of Wilder because of his lack of boxing skills. Yeah. I used to say, oh, he's one-dimensional, oh, he has that. But you know what? That one weapon he has I mean, it might be one weapon. He might not have the best legs, but I'm being real with you. I don't see many other fighters that are well-rounded still beating him.
Exactly.
And plus, he has a heart. Like, that man showed heart in that last fight with Tyson Fury.
And I think that's
I got nothing but love and respect.
Yeah, I think that's why he got more of my respect too. Because like, if I'm looking to see how I'm gonna react to a fighter, I want to see, okay, if he loses, is it because another fighter is just better than them, or do they not have the will to win? Like some fighters, you can tell they don't have that will. Like Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he doesn't have the will. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Deontay Wilder shows he has the will. He just lost to somebody who has more skill than him, and that's fine. We all know that, you know, boxing, there's levels to it. They say all the time there's levels. You know what I mean? But if you go out and you show toughness and you hang in there and you fight as long as you can, you know, even if you got that one weapon, you still trying to make that one weapon work for the entire fight, and it just doesn't work, and another guy beats you, okay, fine. But it's not a will issue with Deontay Wilder. It was just a skill issue. He just ran into a more skillful person. So he learned a lot of my, he earned a lot of my respect too for that. You know, it's just a skill thing with him. It's not a will thing.
Exactly. I mean, look at what's his name? Ortiz, the Cuban fighter they fought.
Yeah.
You talking about?
Yeah.
What's his name?
He just fought.
I forgot his first name.
He just fought.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Jeez, what's his name?
Wilder.
Hold on.
Something Ortiz.
It's
Luis Ortiz?
Luis Ortiz. There you go.
Luis Ortiz.
There you go.
He has amazing boxing skills. Yeah. Amazing. Yes. You know, the Cuban fighters are some of the best technical fighters on the planet because of how much amateur fights that they have. And for Deontay Wilder to still be, like I said, that heart that he has, that will.
Yeah.
And, you know, if I'm being honest with you, one fight that I would really like to see that I would think would be a great rebound fight for him and for the other person, Wilder versus Ortiz. What's his name? Ruiz. Andy Ruiz.
Yeah, that would be a good fight. That would be a really good fight.
I'd be down for that too because Andy Ruiz, he's got fast hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think he'll be able to catch Wilder on the chin a couple times. So I want to see how Wilder reacts to that. So I'd be down.
I like to see that one.
Yeah, that one would be a good one. They're talking about possibly who did I see? Derek Chisora and somebody else. I think Eddie Hearn is working on a fight with it may be Chisora and Wilder. Or I think he's working on something with Wilder. Chisora, bless his heart, he's tough, one of the toughest dudes in boxing. I'm ready to see him hang.
Yeah. He's tough.
All right, I got a question for y'all. I brought the subject up, but we didn't get a chance to go into detail. Brian, I'm gonna start with you. Jerome Boots Ennis, I think we all can agree is outstanding. Undefeated. He's done everything right. Sean Porter,
underrated.
Yeah, very underrated. Excuse me. Sean Porter went on his podcast and said he believed Boots is overrated because of what people say. He said that he thinks that everybody puts Boots kind of on a pedestal and says, well, you know, he'll smash Errol Spence or he'll smash Terence Crawford. Or he'll smash like all the top guys on 147. That's why he feels that Boots is overrated. Now, my question to y'all, and Brian, I'll start with you, is do you agree with what Sean Porter said? Do you think Boots Ennis is overrated, or do you think he's possibly maybe even underrated?
I think he's underrated. I think that you know, when people talk about fighters in this manner before they've had, you know, big fights, it's because they know they're coming, right? Mm-hmm. And just like Errol Spence, people said Errol Spence was overrated, you know, when he was first coming up. But no, when they know, they know. And, you know, Sean Porter, you know, he's a fighter. He feels like he's the best. You know, he just retired. You know, that's easy to say when you're retired. But Boots Ennis, he'll be in there. You know what I mean? He's definitely gonna win a world title. So,
yeah. How you feel, my man? Do you think? Do you agree with what Sean Porter said?
No, I think Boots is underrated. Mm-hmm. I think he's a throwback fighter. You know, he comes with bad intentions.
Yeah.
He's not all about flash. He's not all about that. And I think that intimidates a lot of the new age fighters.
Mm-hmm.
I think that these days they look at sales, they look at the eye test, well, no, eye appeal.
Yeah.
Like, but Boots he's gonna go in there, he's gonna knock you out. That's just plain and simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I just think that if he doesn't have anything in common with these new guys, and they're just hating on him, and he's way underrated.
Yeah, Boots. Boots is a problem. I think I wouldn't use the word underrated. If I'm going off of what Sean Porter said and just basing off that, I wouldn't use the word overrated. I would say more so of let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Right, exactly. Because he said that Boots hasn't gotten in the ring with, you know, a top champion, which he is right about. Like, there hasn't been a top 3 or 4 guy that Boots has been in the ring with. But nobody's debating the fact that Boots is special. But I think some of what Sean Porter said is right, because sometimes, like, I do get people saying that, oh, Terence Crawford, you know, Boots will smash Terence Crawford. And I'm like, yo, hold on, wait a second. Just, you know, Boots is good, but just hold on. You know, we got the shiny new toy over here. People are used to seeing Errol Spence and Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman and Manny Pacquiao in the division. Now you get some new blood. You get this new shiny new toy. And, you know, he's appealing, and he may end up being everything, you know. But my thing is, you know, just pump the brakes just a little bit and let's see what he does. And I'm sure he'll continue to impress like he's been doing. I'm not even going to debate that. But I don't want to put him up there yet until he's got that fight that puts him up there and saying, okay, yeah, he can beat Terence Crawford. I've seen him make adjustments.
See, you know,
let's just say he fights Danny Garcia and washes Danny Garcia. Now I can say, okay, Boots, he seriously might give Terence Crawford some problems. I'm not willing to give him that yet because I haven't seen him get punched. I haven't seen him uncomfortable yet. He's washed everybody that he's been in the ring with. So now what happens when you become uncomfortable? What happens if somebody hits you? I want to see how you react to. You know, I want to see how you react after that. That's my thing.
And I agree with, like, you know, Sean Porter. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say that Sean Porter, you know, it's fitting coming from him because he was a gatekeeper. He's a person who fought everybody. So it's like he demands respect and he should have a chip because he didn't necessarily get all the respect that he deserves because he is the only person that wasn't scared to lose his O and fight everybody. And he fought everybody tough. So, you know, I respect it at least coming from him.
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all something since we brought up Terence Crawford. What do y'all think about what Bob Arum said about Crawford, that, you know, he wasn't promotable, that he didn't do his own part?
Well, my thing is Terence Crawford is top 3 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. That sells right there. You know what I mean? Like, boxing fans, people that casually watch boxing, they're going to watch the best fighters in the world, you know, and if you're, as a promoter, it's your job. You know, you don't have a problem promoting some of these other fighters, you know. So if you can't promote a guy that's, you know, top 3 pound for pound, then what are you doing wrong? There's something that you're doing wrong.
Let's not beat around the bush. Let's not beat around the bush, man. There are fighters who are on the coincidental list, and they happen to be a lot of Black American fighters. Do not get the same, are not getting the same push that you see European fighters getting, Russian fighters, Lomachenko in America, Canelo. You know what I mean? You know, because you know the WBC is a Mexican organization, so you don't see that same push in America for Black American fighters. And I've said that multiple times. And I don't think that, like, they're as marketable as some other fighters. So think about it. Who was Bob Arum's first person that he ever promoted? Muhammad Ali, right? Isn't that his first person?
Yeah.
So
Ali.
To say that not every fight, but see, Ali was a showman. He's more than a boxer. Terence Crawford is just a dog. Like, he's just a dog, and he's just a fighter. That's all he does is fight. He doesn't promote. He doesn't talk a whole bunch of trash. He's a quiet guy, stays to himself. He's humble. You know what I mean? And no, it might not be easy to promote, but it's your job as a promoter to promote that, man. Like you would Lomachenko.
I think Bob Arum, if you think about his best fighters that he's had, they all have one thing in common. They were big in their own country or their own place, and he kind of like fanned that fan base of where they're originally from and kind of carried over. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Well, when you look at like Miguel Cotto, you know, what's the first? He made his big first fight in Puerto Rico. He said, "This is the next great Puerto Rican fight." You know what I mean? He fanned that their home base and kind of brought him over. Because with Puerto Rico is easily, what's the Puerto Rican capital in the States? New York. You know, maybe Madison Square Garden. You know what I mean? With Lomachenko, you know, he had that big following. So he kind of fanned theirs. So what I'm getting to is this. As what you said was perfect, you know, Ali, because Ali had a big mouth, you know what I mean? But that kind of goes into what he was depending on the fighter to kind of promote himself. So that questions me as a promoter. You know what I mean? If they don't have the home base to follow them and is left up to the promoter strictly to carry the name out, he doesn't really have a great resume.
That's an excellent point.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear too, though. Like you said, the next Puerto Rican fighter, the next biggest Mexican star, what's the next American fighter? Boxing is based off of country and race. It's a war between countries and races, right? In America, the top fighters are mostly African American fighters, right? But they don't necessarily have the full support of. More people want to see Fury win than Deontay Wilder. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So there's always that dynamic. This is America, right? So it's like that's why I feel like Terence Crawford and Errol Spence will never be bigger than some of these other fighters. Mayweather had to be the villain to get that blockbuster past De La Hoya type of numbers. You know what I mean?
And he still gets a lot of hate, man. He still gets a lot of hate because his fighting style, like as a true fan of boxing, I enjoy watching the science of it. Like if you ask anybody that truly watches boxing, they'll tell you the end result is to hit and not get hit. At the end of the day, that's the main focus, is to hit and not get hit. Get your money and get out. That, you know what I mean? That's the T. And Floyd Mayweather, he did a great job because, you know, you could probably count on one, maybe two hands how many times you've seen Floyd in serious trouble of getting knocked out. It's happened before, you know, but he does such a good job of hitting and not get hit. And it was just so frustrating to fans because they want to see the Arturo Gatti kind of fighter. They want to see, you know, the Barrera Morales kind of wars. You know, they want to see bloodbaths. That's more appealing. The knockouts are more fun to watch versus somebody boxing and putting on a show for 12 rounds. But, you know, Floyd Mayweather, in my eyes, is probably top 5 greatest boxers of all time as to what he's done. You know what I mean? You got to put him up there in that elite class. I mean, he's done everything. He's beat more world champions than anybody in the sport of boxing. So
I have Floyd as the best. I really do. But I wanted to say something that the other gentleman said, because you brought up a very good point about how here in America, a lot of people don't have the African-American boxers like support. You know what I mean? And a good example of that, 2 fighters are about to fight, and they sold out the stadium. I think it was like in an hour or 2. And they haven't fought in years. And this is a good example of support. Kell Brook and Amir Khan.
Yeah.
No, I will say, my UK people, if you watching, man, I live in the States. UK fans are the best. They're the best. They are the best boxing fans, dude. And if you debating me, man, watch some of the fights that sold out in Wembley Stadium with all those people singing "Sweet Caroline," and then watch how
Soccer stadiums.
Watch how hard now they're going for Savannah Marshall, telling every single American that will listen that Clarissa Shields is going to get knocked out by Savannah Marshall whenever they fight. And they truly, truly, truly believe that. You know what I mean? They believe Josh Taylor could beat Bud Crawford. They stand heavily behind those guys, man. You know what I mean? That's one thing about the UK fans. Ricky Hatton, who follows our page, man. Ricky's a good dude. Ricky Hatton's like a legend over there. You know, yeah, UK fans, man. I will say they're the best, dog.
They are, but like I said, I mean, we got to show support for our guys here. Unfortunately, Americans are just, I think we're very spoiled by all the options we got. We take so much for granted that we don't even show appreciation.
Yeah. We don't show appreciation.
I don't think the best athletes are boxing. I don't think the best athletes, especially, it's that heavyweight title. And Americans, we've dominated the heavyweight title for so long in the past. We didn't have a heavyweight champion for a long time, right? Because when Lennox Lewis took it up, Deontay Wilder was the next one, right? The next American heavyweight champion was Deontay Wilder after Lennox Lewis took it.
Lennox Lewis. And then I want to say he gave it up, and then the Klitschko brothers were running with it for a while.
Then
Fury, right? Then because he beat Vladimir.
Yeah.
So that heavyweight division really determines the heavyweight division in America has been that's been the pinnacle because our greatest are Ali. Those greatest fights back in the day were all heavyweight fights.
Yep.
So us not having a heavyweight, that kind of hurts because people want to see that. And, and it goes back to what we were talking about, it not just being about the money, it being for the love of the sport and that being in the community. On a community level, people keeping boxing going. And, that's part of it. The best athletes, heavyweight athletes aren't boxing. They're playing football.
They're
getting these checks and So
man, I just want to say real quick because I gotta leave, but you guys are amazing. I'm gonna start following y'all. I love the passion you guys have for sports, and I want to say thank you so much for having me on your platform tonight, man. It's been awesome.
Hey, man. It's been nothing but a blessing on my end. We definitely appreciate you coming through. So anytime that you see that we're live, please tap in, say hey. You know what I mean? You're always welcome.
Absolutely.
And good meeting you, man. Nice meeting you, definitely.
You too, man. God bless you both. You have a good night.
Stay up, my brother.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, B. Wells, we got one more topic, man, and then I'm gonna let you go.
What we got? We got that fanfare, man. It's real love in here, man.
Dog, it's kind of surreal. It's hitting me, you know what I mean, right now. Like just have people coming through and saying they appreciate the platform. Like it hit me like wow. You know what I mean? Like I didn't think this was gonna happen. I didn't think this was gonna be an end result. Like this was just something that was just supposed to be fun. And now it's transforming into something much bigger. So like I'm just riding the wave right now, dog.
Yeah, man, that's what happens when you put that work in, man.
When you put the work in, absolutely, man. So the last topic that we got, man, both guys signed their contracts. April 30th, we have Oscar Valdez versus Shakur Stevenson. We got a unification bout. Who you got, man? It's gonna be
it's Shakur. Shakur. Didn't Valdez? He fights under Canelo, right? His trainer is
Eddie Reynoso. Yes,
Eddie Reynoso. So he lost a pretty controversial. He won a very controversial fight, didn't he? Not too long ago.
I believe he did, but also he did have that, which I think was the knockout of the year last year against Miguel Berchelt in their fight. So Valdez he's good too, man. Like some people can call this a super fight because this is probably the two top guys in that division.
It may be, but Shakur Stevenson is on. There's levels. He's on another level.
Yeah,
It'll
I
be a good
agree.
showing. It'll be a good showing, but Shakur, he's up there, man. I think
Yeah,
he's the
he does.
best. Man, it's hard because you got guys like Tank, you got Devin Haney, but I think he's above Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson.
I would agree. I'd put him in those whole group of guys, man. I'd put him and Tank Davis at the top. 1A and 1B. Cambosis, I put him at 2. He earned my respect. I just think that he's not better than those two guys. Yeah, he earned my respect, but I don't think he's better than those two guys. But I think Shakur, what separates him is like his distance, to be able to control the distance. He does a good job of, like we just said, not getting hit. He's able to go in and do what he got to do and control the distance enough that whenever you're ready to throw whatever it is that you're going to throw back, he's already out of range.
He's ready. Yeah. I mean, I see if he just boxes like we know he will, I don't think he'll have a problem.
Yeah. I agree, man. I agree. Well, my brother, it's been real, man. I thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, man. You are the fearless leader.
No, man. I'm just somebody that's just having fun. I got good friends that I can call and say, you know what I'm saying, let's go live. And having somebody else in here, it helps create, like a little thing, and people want to join. Like if they just saw me talking, is different. But if you got somebody up here with you, talking boxing with you, it becomes more of like a discussion. So but
look, let's keep it a buck. Let's go ahead and give a round of applause for the champ.
Yeah, man.
Jesse coming on, that's tight, being able to but that's what happens, Sean, when you build a brand. It's just a testament. When you build a brand and you're doing it for the love of the sport, you're doing it as a fan, you're doing it as a boxing historian, and all the work you put in, man, it just shows. And it's organic, so people feel it, man. So just continue doing what you're doing, man. And,
I definitely appreciate that, my brother. That definitely means a lot. I respect your opinion, respect you as a person, everything you do, man. Love you. And we'll be talking, man, so that way we can figure out when we're gonna do this again, man.
All right, no doubt. All right, man. Y'all have a good one out there in boxing land. Tune in next time.
I'll let everybody later to the next one. Peace.